John Mulaney a few years ago. A guy sets himself up as a wife guy. A bunch of fans develop parasocial relationships with him. And when he is publicly revealed to actually be a big old jerk, those fans are extremely angry about it. That's why a lot of people care. But why do I care? I'm not someone who develops parasocial relationships because I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to meet some heroes at a relatively young age and very quickly learned that people are often jerks, and you never really know what's in someone's heart just based on what you see them do in public, except for with me, of course. I assure you that even in my private life, I am an extremely sarcastic and annoying buzzkill. So yeah, why do I care about what Dave Grohl does in his private life? And why should you care? Well, it's because I remember things that Dave Grohl hopes you don't, or that you never knew. Because we as a society are accustomed to buying albums from guys who have extramarital affairs. And so eventually this drama will blow over. The Foo Fighters will put out a catchy new song and everybody will stream it with no guilt. But people tend to be less likely to buy and enjoy music from a guy with a body count. And I don't mean a sexual body count. I mean a real death body count. And Dave Grohl and Foo Fighters have a real death body count. Of course, I was already suspicious of Foo Fighters from the jump due to their very name, which is a mid-century slang term for UFOs. That said, Dave Grohl has stated that he thinks it's a stupid name. He only used it because he hoped that the plural would hide the fact that the entire first album was just Dave Grohl doing every instrument and all the vocals. He didn't expect the project to really take off the way that it did, but when the album was a hit and it was time to hire on an actual band, the name stuck. One of those band members that Grohl initially hired in 1994 and is still in the band today is bassist Nate Mendel. An aside, do you know what they call the beautiful woman on the arm of a bass player? A tattoo. I can make that joke because for some reason I have accidentally dated several bass players. Anyway, in the late 90s, Nate Mendel got his hands on a book called What If Everything You Thought You Knew About AIDS Was Wrong? And no, it's not a book correcting dangerous misinformation like you can get AIDS by shaking hands with a gay guy. It's a book that created dangerous misinformation out of whole cloth, like HIV does not lead to AIDS, and no one should ever bother testing for AIDS, and no one should even take medication to treat HIV and AIDS. If you've been watching this channel for a decade or so, you're already familiar with the author. But for those newer viewers, let me tell you about Christine Major. In 1992, Major's doctor informed her that she had tested positive for HIV, probably contracted from an ex-partner, a boyfriend who also tested positive. A few years later, she met AIDS denialist Peter Duesberg, who convinced her she is actually perfectly fine. Now, if you'll recall from a previous video on this topic, thanks in part to a spirited Russian disinformation campaign in the 80s, several academics and celebrities like RFK Jr. were fooled into thinking that HIV and AIDS are unrelated, and that AIDS is simply caused by drug use in the gay community, or even that AIDS is caused by the medication doctors were prescribing to treat HIV. Major preferred the lie to the truth, and so in 1995, she founded a new nonprofit called Alive and Well AIDS Alternatives with the goal of spreading that lie far and wide. She and her organization became so influential that they advised the president of South Africa on his AIDS policies at the time, convincing him to stop covering pregnant HIV-positive people, stopping them from accessing treatment, leading to that president overseeing about 330,000 deaths from new infections. In 1996, Major self-published her magnum opus, which ended up in the hands of Nate Mendel, who found it fascinating and shared it with the rest of the band.
So I'm curious how Foo Fighters got involved in this.
Christine wrote a book, What If Everything You Thought You Knew About AIDS Was Wrong? And I found the book and read it and was intrigued by what it said.
They were all convinced that Alive and Well was a worthwhile nonprofit doing important work. And so, in 1999, they started heavily promoting them. In January of the year 2000, on Dave Grohl's 31st birthday, in fact, The Foo Fighters organized and played a sold-out show in Los Angeles with the proceeds benefiting the AIDS denialists, featuring a speech from Major and free copies of her book.
I think that most people have been scared of AIDS. I think that most people have been sort of forced to end the idea of a death sentence.
Are you afraid of AIDS?
Am I afraid of AIDS? No. Because I'm here with the last one.
So are you afraid of AIDS, Taylor?
This is making me not so afraid, actually.
The Foo Fighters played a benefit concert for Alive and Well in January 2000, where Christine Major spread her message to Foo Fighter fans.
They also put a banner on their website encouraging people to visit the Alive and Well website if they have ever lived or loved in fear of AIDS, to get a reality check and to find out what the AIDS establishment isn't telling you. AIDS researchers and activists were understandably horrified by all of this, and they publicly called on the band to please stop associating with Alive and Well. But Mendel was unmoved, telling Mother Jones at the time that the band was united in their support of the organization and that they were planning more benefit shows for them, and that not only was he not worried about endangering their fans' lives, but that I'm absolutely confident that I'm doing the right thing. No, I wouldn't feel responsible for possibly harming somebody. I feel I'm doing the opposite. Mother Jones also reported that Major was over the moon about all of this because she has heard from many Foo fans since the show, one of whom she says now works at the Alive and Well office. They then quote a fan repeating her lies on the Foo Fighters' official message board. Undeterred by the experts telling them that they were putting lives at risk, Foo Fighters then updated their site with an entire landing page promoting Major's lies and encouraging people to donate to her organization. AIDS is not a disease. HIV is not proved to cause AIDS. HIV tests do not test for HIV. And other lies are all right there for Foo Fighter fans to read without even needing to click over to another site. That page stayed live for 3 years before it's quietly removed in mid-2003. Sadly, that bit of housekeeping didn't mean that the band stopped supporting Alive and Well at that time. In 2004, they gifted a song to the soundtrack of the AIDS denialist film The Other Side of AIDS, made by Major's husband. As best as I can tell, by 2005, Foo Fighters completely dropped their public endorsement of Major and Alive and Well. What happened to finally make that happen? Well, we can only guess because, as far as I can tell, literally no one has ever asked them about this in the 20 years since. But I do have some guesses. By the early 2000s, Alive and Well's...
All right. Yo. Van Spates, Murasaki, what is up, brother man? Just setting everything up real slow. Think we're good. I figured, you know what? Apparently it's still double XP weekend. I'm not quite sure if this is actually accurate or this hasn't changed, but I mean, we still got the Rockefeller and Arena playlist, so I figured frick it. I like the finals gameplay. I like the finals. I think it's fun. Definitely gonna be playing more of it. Dude, my day, I just feel fucking exhausted for no reason. I feel like I overslept, honestly, which might sound super like backwards, but sometimes if you rest too much, you almost get like tired. Like you sleep so much, you end up tired, if that makes sense. I think that's what happened. I had like nothing to do today, so I was trying to watch, I started watching One Piece today, actually. That's kind of what I did today. I haven't made it far at all. Yo, Decoy, you kicked the shit out of me the other day on Pueblito. The other day. Like last week or what? Can't wait for you to try the new weapon next season, bro. The double deagles and the heavy. Dude, I was watching some gameplay of both the double deagles and the shotgun or whatever, because it doesn't bloom, so you can like move around and there's no penalty to it. That kind of seems kind of crazy. Also, I saw somebody, I didn't see nothing about the no DMR though, but I saw somebody almost like cross mapping with the shotgun, and the deagles look really strong. Impossible to start One Piece now? Dude, you don't understand how much of a life I do not have. I watch so much anime every single day. It's actually ridiculous. Is the update live, or we'll wait how much longer? I mean, what time is it right now? Like almost 8 o'clock for me. So it's like 15 hours, I think. 15 hours. Oh boy, One Piece is going to take you a while, bro. How many episodes are in One Piece? Like 1,000 some, right? It took me a good like week and a half to finish Naruto, and that was like 400 or 500 episodes. So I should be able to have One Piece done in like a month and a half or so, if I don't watch nothing else. But I am watching a lot of other anime at the same time here. I have to turn my volume up here. It's kind of quiet. But I was looking at Twitter, and the new, I don't know if you guys have seen the new leaks or whatever for, not really leaks, I guess it's confirmed, but the new mastery camo for season 2, you're gonna need to have like 4 assault rifles mastered, 3 LMG. Like, you're gonna have a ton of guns done. So it's not just gonna be you could just instantly go from 4 to 500. You have to have a lot of weapons already mastered. You don't have to have all of them, but you have to have like half the ARs, half the SMGs. It has 109, yeah, 1,119 episodes. Is kind of ridiculous. I mean, I don't know if there's filler. Like, one of the biggest things I wish I would have done whenever I watched Naruto is look up a guide. I know it kind of sounds cringe, but there's probably a good 50 plus episodes in Naruto that you don't have to watch. So I think I might look up if there's like a guide for One Piece, because I really don't want to watch filler episodes. And there's also movies for One Piece too. So, but I don't know if it's actually additional content or if it's kind of like in the sense of like, say, Demon Slayer, right? Where you have the whole train arc. And you could watch the, what is it, like 10, 12 episodes, or you can just go watch the movie. What is up, brother man? How we doing, brother man? Yo, brother man, what is up? Mindlessly gonna be grinding levels right now because season 2, you know, they switched it up on us a little bit. I was expecting the mastery camo grind to just be additional levels, and I mean, technically it is, but you have to have us off other ones mastered. More than 50 episodes in Naruto? Dude, literally. There might even be more. There's so many episodes in Naruto which are just, it's like side characters that don't even matter, really. Filler is what killed Naruto. Dude, filler is like in every big anime, though, to be fair. Like, Bleach has a lot of filler and stuff. Black Clover has a lot of filler. Honestly, even though My Hero Academia, or Boku no Hero Academia, even though it's not technically just a long-running series in the same sense as something like One Piece or Naruto, there's still episodes, even in My Hero, which are just, you could totally skip. A lot of stuff that's just not needed to be watched, dude. I was getting such good ping earlier. I feel like my audio is just so quiet. Either that or I'm going deaf. Is the gameplay too loud for you guys? Let me know. Doesn't even seem like it's that much louder. I just cranked it. People got fed up with Boruto. I watched a fair bit of it, but I wouldn't say I got fed up with it. I'm just waiting for... I was waiting for more episodes because I was watching it as it was coming out. Letterkenny is a good show too. it's not anime, but it's a good show. I have no interest in regular TV shows. I'm like thinking about I have a hard time watching actual actors without cringing. Yeah, you put it in like a cartoon format, and I can watch it, no problem. You're on Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling is cool. It's cool because it's like the first. Like it's technically an anime, I guess, but it doesn't come from a manga, right? It comes from what do they call it in Korean? Like a manhwa or some shit? Manhwa, something like that. So it's kind of cool to see something Korean coming to like anime. I mean, it's not the first time, but I think it was all right. I really think they needed to wait until they almost had 2 seasons ready, because just dropping what, like, I'm not trying to spoil nothing because you said you're still watching it, but it kind of feels like they get you half started. Right as you get really invested, it's just like, you gotta wait for season 2. It's like, bruh. Dude, can I find people? Like, hello? The final's about to kill XDefiant once season 4 drops, fam. You think it's gonna kill XDefiant? I think if anything is gonna quote unquote kill XDefiant, it's gonna be Black Ops 6, but I don't know. I think XDefiant, it doesn't even matter what game comes out, unless it's another game exactly like XDefiant. I don't think it's gonna kill XDefiant. Voice crack? My voice didn't crack, did it? But what I was gonna say, wait, the creator died? I didn't even know that. I remember seeing Solo Leveling when it was on was it on Webtoons, or I don't know, it was on one of the platforms that I watch. Were you playing off stream a little earlier? Yeah, I played like maybe 2 or 3 games earlier. What was I gonna say though? Now I totally couldn't blank. Oh, about XDefiant finals killing it. Dude, the thing with the finals is, even though it could be a great game, there's a lot of people who just don't mess with the type of game that it is, like the style. Solo Leveling, good. Should I start with that? I mean, if you've never watched anime before, no. Solo Leveling is good, but it's not that good. It's not something I'd recommend to somebody who's never watched anime before. There's like so many others that I'd recommend first. Finals is in a different category from XDefiant. Yeah, exactly. If we're gonna start an anime, start with Demon Slayer. Even Demon Slayer, I don't think is a great start. I'd go with something a lot more simple and less in depth. Like, I'd probably recommend it. I know it might sound cringe, but if I had to recommend an anime to somebody, there's 2 routes that I always see people go, and I disagree with both of them. One route, they'll either go just recommending like One Piece or Dragon Ball or these, Naruto, stuff that has so many episodes. Or B, they'll go with whatever's been super trendy in the past couple of years, so like Jujutsu Kaisen or Demon Slayer. I think like Sword Art Online or even My Hero Academia, stuff like that, it's a lot easier to get into. And you just go season by season. Like Demon Slayer, it's cool, but there's a lot of Japanese culture into it, which I feel like for somebody who might not be necessarily into the whole culture and stuff around, I guess, anime, it might just be a little weird. But like My Hero Academia, if you're a North American and stuff, or even from Europe, there's a good chance you've seen a superhero movie. You could just play off of that pretty well. Dude, I'm like sprinting around this map lost. Where are they spawning? Where's the enemy team? Why can't I get XP? Dude, I'm like not getting no kills. And apparently it's bugged right now too, so assists don't even count as kills. I mean, assists don't count as XP. I'm getting no XP this game. GG, good game. Bruh, I didn't even get the last kill. You want a beginner to watch something that's good and ends good quickly. Exactly. Like, I've even seen Attack on Titan recommended a lot, but the thing is with Attack on Titan, you almost feel obligated to just go season by season to get the full story. I don't know. The thing with anime is, like, most people I know who are really into anime just stumbled upon something that just pulled them in. Also, it might sound super stupid, but I think it also depends on, like, who it is that you're recommending, because a lot of, like, the chicks I know growing up and stuff, or even recently, the anime that they like is totally different than shit I'd ever watch. GG's, brother, man, no XP though, right? Dude, I mean, technically I got XP, but I'm trying to farm here. Dude, my chair might be breaking, honestly. My fat ass is breaking my chair. I don't know, do you guys use, like, quote-unquote gaming chairs? And if you do, how long do they last you? I know some people who swear that theirs has been lasting them for like 2 years, 3 years, but it's like, I replace mine every year, almost, it seems, and it's just, they get so squeaky so quick. And it doesn't matter how much I spend. Like, I'll buy a cheap one. I mean, the cheap ones break a lot quicker, but... He's lying. Decoy don't know any women except family. Listen, man, exposing me like that. I use an office chair. Technically, this is an office chair, too. It's like an ergonomic whatever. It's my first time buying, like, one that wasn't labeled for gaming. I can't stand the fake leather. The pleather, or whatever it's called. I'm over that shit. I don't like it. I sit butt naked on my chairs all the time whenever I'm not, like, streaming and shit. And, like, I don't like the feeling of my skin just sticking to the chair. For 4 years, just a little squeaky, not much. Dude, I don't know. Maybe it's because, like, I freaking be pulling up my feet and, like, almost standing on my chair. Maybe that's the issue. Office chairs are better than gaming chairs are going. Yeah, dude, I don't think too many people really push gaming chairs anymore unless it's something like Secret Lab or... But I remember, what was it, like 2016 era? 2016 to 2020, kind of like around there. People are pushing like DX Racers, and I bought one. And that shit lasted a year. We might need the finals gameplay on stream. That vid was from... Hey, dude. Actually going to be playing the final season 4 on stream. Guarantee it. Only reason I'm on XDefiant is because we got literally season 2 tomorrow. And I got a lot of weapon XP to get through here. Because, like, here, I'll pull it up. Let me pull it up on stream here. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. The post from Apes. Give us Noodleplex, please. I swear to God. So this is what he said. The requirements are level 400 on 4 ARs, 4 SMGs, 3 shotguns, 3 LMGs, 2 marksmen, 2 snipers, and 5 secondaries. Then level 500 on the weapons you are going for. So I'm kind of confused on, does this mean like 4 ARs before you can do the other ARs? Does this mean you have to do all of these before you can do even one? And whenever it comes to mastering all these, like I don't know. It's kind of got me a little confused, but either way, we got to grind. When it comes to anime, I'm super into fantasy. Oh, dude, 100%, me too. Like, I went through a little bit of a stage where I kind of went into mecha a bit. Like, I really don't like sci-fi stuff. I really don't. I don't like even, like, outside of anime, I don't like Star Wars. I don't like Star Trek, none of that shit. I don't even like superhero stuff. But just because I hear people talking all the time about, like, you know, Genesis and stuff like that, or Code Geass. Like, Code Geass, even though it's technically a mecha anime, was actually really good. So, or Darling in the Franxx and stuff. You need to get 23 guns to 400 to start another. Yeah, but it's like... So, because, for example... Because I did all my SMGs and all my shotguns, I'm already chilling there. Dude, I gotta do all my LMGs, all my marksmen, all the snipers, and then like just over half of my ARs. I mean, I'm good with the pistols. putting on anime skins to make me buy it. Dude, I'm not talking about shit. Spending money on a game? It's cringe. You can invest in stocks and become a big millionaire. And where's the enemy team? There's a sniper behind me. Bruh. Watch the original Biomu's Armor, the Diver. I've never even heard of that. I've watched a lot of anime, dude. Fantasy is definitely my favorite genre as well. Like, I really like Dungeons and Dragons and all that kind of stuff. So fantasy was always my draw. Like, my draw. But it's not about a certain. I only spend it on games. Tax evasion for the win.
Membership was severely lagging. It wasn't for lack of publicity from bands like Foo Fighters, but simply because their members were dying at an alarming and somewhat suspicious rate. That fate eventually came to Majora herself, who decided to have unprotected sex with her husband, had a baby, and breastfed that baby despite the fact that no one was on any medication. Because it's the medication that causes AIDS, right? In April of 2005, Majora's then 3.5-year-old daughter died from complications caused by advanced AIDS. You may think watching her infant daughter waste away and die in front of her eyes might cause Majora to rethink her philosophy, but no. She argued that the medical examiner was lying and that this was all a big cover-up from big AIDS. She continued to insist that she was healthy without taking any medications to treat her HIV, and so she herself died horribly and painfully a few years later in 2008. So I don't know, just a guess, but maybe at least one Foo Fighter did rethink his philosophy while watching that happen, leading to them no longer being a united front on supporting whoever was still alive to run alive and well. You know, that's just a guess. It would really be nice if someone, anyone, would ask them. I do think that people can grow and change and adjust their philosophies, but when the conspiracy theory in question is this dangerous, the people spreading it this famous, and when it is being spread by grown-ass men in their 30s at the time, I think it's worth demanding that the person in question offer at least some kind of apology and explanation. I can't believe I'm saying this, but a good example is Ronda Rousey. Rousey, a former MMA competitor and current wrestling star, posted a link to a Sandy Hook conspiracy video on Twitter back in 2013, saying that it was interesting and arguing that she was just asking questions and doing research, which she found more patriotic than blindly accepting what you're told. She got some backlash and posted a quick pseudo-apology and deleted her original post and never spoke of it again. But last month, she didn't ask me anything on Reddit, and the comments were swarmed with people asking her about whether she still thought the Sandy Hook massacre was a big hoax. She left the AMA, but shortly after, she posted this apology on social media. I was going to summarize it for you, but it's such a rare example of a celebrity making what sounds like a real heartfelt apology that I'll just read it into. I can't say how many times I've redrafted this apology over the last 11 years, how many times I've convinced myself it wasn't the right time or that I'd be causing even more damage by giving it. But 11 years ago, I made the single most regrettable decision of my life. I watched a Sandy Hook conspiracy video and reposted it on Twitter. I didn't even believe it, but was so horrified at the truth that I was grasping for an alternative fiction to cling to instead. I quickly realized my mistake and took it down, but the damage was done. By some miracle, it seemingly slipped under the media's radar. I was never asked about it, so I never spoke of it again, afraid that calling attention to it would have the opposite of the intended effect. It could increase the views of those conspiracy videos and selfishly inform even more people I was ignorant, self-absorbed, and tone-deaf enough to share it in the first place. I drafted a 1,000th apology to include in my last memoir, but my publisher begged me to take it out, saying it would overshadow everything else less and do more harm than good. So I convinced myself that apologizing would just reopen the wound for no other reason than me selfishly trying to make myself feel better, that I would hurt those suffering even more and possibly lead more people down the black hole of conspiracy bullshit by it being brought up again, just so I could try to shake the label of being a Sandy Hook truther. But honestly, I deserve to be hated, labeled, detested, resented, and worse for it. I deserve to lose out on every opportunity. I should have been canceled. I would have deserved it. I still do. I apologize that this came 11 years too late, but to those affected by the Sandy Hook massacre, from the bottom of my heart and depth of my soul, I am so sorry for the hurt I caused. I can't even begin to imagine the pain we've endured, and words cannot describe how thoroughly remorseful and ashamed I am of myself for contributing to it. I've regretted it every day of my life since, and I will continue to do so until the day I die. And to anyone else that's fallen down the black hole of bullshit, it doesn't make you edgy or an independent thinker. You're not doing your due diligence, entertaining every possibility by digesting these conspiracies. They will only make you feel powerless, afraid, miserable, and isolated. You're doing nothing but hurting others and yourself. Regardless of how many bridges you've burned over it, stop digging yourself a deeper hole. Don't get wrapped up in the sunk cost fallacy. No matter how long you've gone down the wrong road, you should still turn back. Say what you will about Rousey, but that is a great apology. It's an important glimpse into the mind of the average edgelord conspiracy theorist to boot, and an insightful look into the celebrity PR machine. Sure, maybe it makes better business sense to just bury your mistakes and hope no one ever finds them. But if you have any kind of empathy in your soul, those mistakes are going to continue to lie there beating under the floorboards like a telltale heart. I'd like it if we were able to hit the same kind of critical mass of people asking Foo Fighters about their dangerous mistake, where the need to unburden and apologize finally outweighs the financial benefit of pretending it never happened. So, yeah, maybe like and share this video, just in case it works. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you loved the video, please subscribe. And if you think the world could use more videos like this and you happen to have a few bucks laying around, head to...
The amount of hate I get is so intense, and I never acknowledge it and I never talk about it. There's a lot of emotion that I never process, because it's like I think people think my life is so easy or something, and that I have money or whatever, so they're just I can just be a total punching bag. Or maybe it's because I did the roast. We get paid to try to entertain people, so when people are not getting paid and their hobby is just to trash the people that are trying to spread joy, it's it sucks a little bit, because then I go well, who am I doing this for?
Guys, how did we get here? I mean, what exactly is going on? We're 5 minutes into the new year. Cat Williams called out Joe Rogan and said the quiet bit out loud. Tom Segura cancelled Dr. Drew. Dave Chappelle and Ricky Gervais dropped comedy specials that couldn't be further apart. And Stephen Hawking has been accused of defying physics.
That's how it was for blue comedy. If you were a comedian that cussed, you were ridiculed by the mainstream comedy geist. That would be like me being on Joe Rogan. Joe don't want me on there. I need to be on Shannon. Joe got 6 comedians that never been funny. He want to push out. But that's really how it is.
This is probably the single greatest moment in the short history of this channel. Just like that, Cat Williams said what we've all been thinking all along, and don't let the significance go over your head. I don't think there's ever been a comedian at that level who explicitly and undeniably called out Rogan like that. But Rogan replied to Cat on Twitter saying, "I love Cat, he's one of my favorite comics and I'd love to have him on. We talk about him all the time. If he's down, I'll make it happen." However, from what I've seen in the tweet replies and the few commentary channels that have covered this drama so far, a lot of people have been praising Rogan for taking ownership of what Cat said, not backing down, etc., etc. And I actually don't agree with any of that. Rogan didn't have a choice. This is new territory for Rogan. Rarely has he been called out like this from one of his own. And all of this couldn't have come at a better time. The Brogan comedy brats, whom Kat was referring to, are starting to crumble. So I'm going to show you just how toxic this so-called Rogan effect really is, and how Joe is more interested in satisfying his own ego rather than actually helping out his buddies. This actually happened to Mr. Beast as well, but more on that in a little bit. I'll take you through all those details, because there are two comedians who are beating the Rogan effect, but for different reasons. And once you understand the power of breaking free from Rogan's orbit and still being able to make it on your own, you'll quickly realize who the real ones are, the last men standing.
All right, this guy I'm bringing on stage is so funny, he got canceled at the beginning of his career. Please welcome from almost Saturday Night Live, Shane Gillis. Now, Shane.
Hey.
I'm gonna keep my comments brief.
All right.
Shane, you once did a joke that I love, and I hate making requests. I saw you do a joke about Donald Trump getting shot.
All right. Try to remember it.
You said he would die funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if he dies in the joke.
No. I said, of all the presidents, I think it's fair to say Donald Trump would be the funniest one to see get shot. Just because he'd be in the middle of a speech talking shit. Just, you're gay. The shooter would be coming at him and be like, sit down, get down. What a loser, get down, sit down. But just the noise he would make when he got hit, even if you love Donald Trump, it would be funny. As soon as he got hit, he'd be like, ah. But the rest of the joke, which is my favorite part that didn't really, a lot of people didn't like it, was Biden. I think Biden's the first president you could punch assassinate. You just walk right up to him and be like, Mr. President, how the f*** are you doing?
That's got to be a career highlight for Shane Gillis. I mean, having one of the goats of comedy request a joke and proceed to literally spin around in laughter, oh man, that hits different. But before I move into the Rogan effect and the disaster that has become, I wanted to say a few words about Dave Chappelle's latest comedy special called The Dreamer, which I watched 3 times this week, and it made me go back and re-watch Ricky Gervais's special called Armageddon, which I reviewed last week as well, and I also re-watched Shane Gillis's most recent special called Beautiful Dogs for the 50th time, which is only his second special, mind you. So then all in all, I've watched a few comedy specials this week, and here's what I noticed. Chappelle and Gillis both looked like they were just having fun. Sure, they're at opposite ends of their careers, but you can't fake that sort of genuine happiness just to be on stage holding a mic telling jokes. Contrast that with Ricky Gervais, whose special was still okay, far from his best work, but he just seemed like he was ticking boxes and rage-baiting all the snowflakes into calling him out. It's like he had a list of people he wanted to offend and then went to work. Interestingly, though, I caught an interview he did with the Oxford Union from 6 years ago, where he basically outlined his path back into stand-up comedy after taking a long break to pursue his Hollywood dreams.
But now, I don't know why, but it's number 1 on my list. Now I could give up TV and film to just do stand-up because I love it more than ever. I don't know why. I realise what a privilege it is. It's sort of the last bastion of self-censorship outside the novel. You know, what you say is what they hear. There's no one interfering. It's a good time. It's a really good time for stand-up.
Now, as you guys know, I'm not one to read too much into the things that these guys say, right? But that last little bit seems a little bit sinister. I think he smelt a business opportunity in re-entering the stand-up comedy scene, knowing that the West was becoming increasingly divided and he could profit from it. Now, you guys know I'm a big Ricky D fan, but I call it how I see it. I mean, the guy literally pulls his phone out on stage and reads from his Twitter replies. Then he'll walk over to sip his beer and read from his notes. Like, seriously, dude, you're a comedy veteran and you can't remember your 50-minute set? Chappelle went for over 6 hours once with nothing but a mic, a stool, and a packet of smokes, and he didn't even end up humping the stool. And so creativity in comedy specials has become a thing of the past. Now it's one big race to offend. TikTok comedian Matt Rife rage-baited female journalists into giving his latest comedy special free publicity. Bert Kreischer crapped his pants on stage and wiped it with a white t-shirt and then held it up for everyone to see. And Tom Segura made a documentary about himself which featured his personal trainer crying because he couldn't put into words just how much he loves his boss.
Working with Tom is, I mean, you really can't ask for anything better. I can't, man. I mean, it's... Fuck yeah.
Now, just to be completely clear, that wasn't his agent, that wasn't his manager, it wasn't even a fellow comedian. That was his fitness trainer. Guys, this is the